Hello everybody, it's Michael Albany of Michael Albany Photography and michaelalbany.com. This time what I thought we'd do is we'd go over a little restoration of an old image of an old baseball team back from about the turn of the century. And if we take a look at this team, we can see that it's definitely an old group of guys, but in the original scan you can see the original cardboard or paper frame that it was delivered to the team with. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get rid of that. We're going to crop this down so that the image is just what we want it to be. And we don't really need all that cardboard and the flare, although I have to admit the paper is nice. We're going to bring that down to size, and then we're going to bring it Control 0 so that we can see this on our screen. And we're going to take a look at what we've got. And we see that this image it's an old image. It's been through a lot over the last 100 years. You've got some fading and burnout marks where the silver is kind of starting to fade here and go away. The image is kind of flat and really not there, not like it used to be. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to open up our background layer so that we can edit this particular image. And first we're going to we're going to do is take it over and we're going to move it to a grayscale. We're going to discard all the color information, get rid of all that yellow and hue and yuck that we had. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go in and take a look at our brightness and contrast. And we're going to increase the contrast quite a bit here and bring that up to about 30, 35, and maybe even drop down some of the brightness to give it a little bit more contrast. You see, that in itself helps that image quite a bit. If you take a look at where we started, or after the crop, to where we are now, that's a lot better than it was, but we still have some work to do. The next step, what we're going to do is we're going to use our healing brush tool and select the correct layer, and we're going to get rid of some of these old fade marks that are in the image. And there's just a few of them here. There's quite a few back in the trees. We'll get those in just a second. Get this one back by the equipment bag, and these up here in the trees now, and bring the trees over so that it looks a little bit more natural, because there's actually some sunlight coming through those trees and we want to see that sunlight. There we go. That's it. And get rid of all this dark marking stuff, and it looks a little bit more natural there. And then what we're going to do is, before we do anything else, normally I would save sharpening to the end, but in a restoration I want to bring that sharpening up so that I can see exactly what I need to work with. Now I can see that we have this set a little too high, because when I do that I get a lot of noise around this gentleman's shirt and the background and the trees and the screening behind, and it really doesn't help our image. So I'm going to turn this down. I'm going to bring our radius down to about a 0.3 or a 0.2. Okay, I like it at about 0.3. And I'm going to leave our threshold at 3. Our amount I'm going to bring down to about 135 to 140. Go with 137. And you can see the difference here is very, very subtle. But what that does is that gives me the ability to then go into our levels. And by going into our levels, I can bring these in, our markers in. And that really, really shows a much higher contrasty image. And we're going to approve that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go back into our, go back into our brightness and contrast. And we're going to bring that brightness back up to about, I think 5, 6, let's go with -5 there. And we can see that that has really brought that image up quite a bit. Now you'll see that with this, we've done a little spot healing, we've done a little bit of cropping, but we've gone from this, and in just less than 5 minutes, to this. And you can spend more time working on the details of the image, cleaning up some of the dust that's around these people's socks and things like that if you want to. But I think we've done really, really well in a very short period of time. It's really brought up the image, and it's something that I wouldn't be ashamed to show my family and see if anybody can identify who in this picture actually belongs in my family. I hope you've enjoyed your tutorial for today, and until next time, remember, happy shooting!